Mario has jumped in on the Switch action extra early in 2019 with the release of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe hitting store shelves. We have been seeing so much back and forth on this game. I think out of all the Switch Wii U carryovers, this one comes with the most concern of, is it worth it? Should I buy it? Will we regret the $60 spent? So today, Gabe and I are going to go through our experience with the full game, what we've enjoyed, what we haven't, and then at the end, let you know if we regret spending our hard-earned $60 on this crossover ported title.
As you know, Zach, I had been on the fence about this game from the very beginning. I bought it when it originally launched on the Wii U, and it was one of the few Wii U games that I played to completion, and I played a lot of. So my excitement for it was never really high at all. But given the fact that there is so much extra content, and not new content, but just content that I didn't play originally, I was sort of honestly surprised by how much I enjoyed getting into the game here. And we have a lot to break down here, but I'm happy to say that I have been having a lot of fun with this game.
Yeah, and make sure to let us know in the comments down below how you feel about New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Are you picking it up? Are you not picking it up? And we'll see if this video helps sway you one way or another. Hit that like button if you enjoy. It does help us out a lot. And Mario has helped himself out a lot, I think, with a breadth of content. That's something that struck me right from the get-go. Whether you've played the game on Wii U or whether you have never experienced it, there is a lot here. The fact that you have the main New Super Mario Bros. U campaign, the fact that you have the new Super Luigi campaign, the fact that you have the challenges, the fact that you have a bunch of characters, the fact that you have co-op, it's a pretty healthy, hearty Mario package. Now, granted, it's all very similar gameplay style, 2D, side-scrolling, get the star coins and get to the flagpole. But I like bouncing around. I like being able to dip into a whole world of the main campaign and then go try some of the shorter and more difficult Luigi levels. And then those challenges, though, man, I can't believe I didn't spend more time with these on Wii U. Because we're both people that played on Wii U, but kind of didn't give it a full run-through, a full look. And now that it's on Switch in our hands, the challenges are so impressive.
The challenges are my favorite part of the package. They are super cool. Chasing that gold is almost addictive. Getting close and not quite getting it, just like restarting. It's a gameplay loop. It's a gameplay element loop, I guess, that is very satisfying to me. Zach, I want to be successful. I don't like not having gold. You know how I like my gold.
You're basically a little leprechaun. Wrong color facial hair, but basically the same mentality. I love that it challenges you in ways that the main game often doesn't. You know, a lot of people regard the new Super Mario Bros. Titles as simpler experiences, as easier experiences, and they're not wrong. But when you move to the challenge side of things, Gabe, you and I were playing sort of simultaneously trying to go for golds, and some of them are taking your Mario talents to totally different places where you're needing to never touch the ground or bounce on, a plethora of enemies in a row, and it challenges and pushes you in ways that you're not used to thinking about Mario, or maybe just your typical mode of operation when you get a side-scrolling Mario. Like, this pushes beyond those boundaries, and I love it for that, and I love that you just want to do these over and over and over. But that does bring up my first kind of not so great thing about this package, and I just wish the entire experience was snappier.
Like, the loading screens is something you're talking about here, having to wait for it to load, and they're not long loading screens. Don't get me wrong here, but yeah, I guess just because it's a port, it'd be nice, but I don't know. I think we might be nitpicking a little bit on that one, but the challenges are really fun. I hadn't even touched them before, honestly. I know that they were in the original Wii U game, but it just wasn't something I played. I played that game primarily co-op, so having to experience those for the first time here, that really opened my eyes to hey, I can still have a lot of fun with this game, chasing the gold on these challenges. I wish there was way more of them. Just I've seen how many there are. I wish there was a lot more, but they are still very inventive. The difficulty on them is really satisfying once you complete it as well.
Yeah, chasing gold will take you some time, and that's kind of, for me, the tentpole piece of content is I went straight for those challenges. And yeah, it is nitpicking because the loads aren't that long, but I just feel bringing this game to Wii U, I don't know, I just wish it was almost instantaneous. I feel like that would be possible and would just enhance what I was saying earlier of like moving back and forth between the content, and it's not cumbersome, but just a little bit where I'm like, oh, can we just get going? Like Mario, when he dies and pops back out to the menu screen, I'm not dying a whole lot, mind you, but it would be nice. Now, it's true that this game was on Wii U, and New Super Mario Bros. As a franchise has been on handheld, but this one now coming to Switch and being able to play on the go, to me, something about it has sparked my dormant love for taking big console games into my hands. Like, that is something that we talked about, like, hey, like, that idea has sort of faded. It's not as exciting. Like, hey, woo, you can play it portably. But for whatever reason, this Mario game, it's such a joy to play handheld, and I'm like back on board with this whole like the Switch is so cool because it's a hybrid.
Yes, it runs very, very well in handheld. We have a video you can go check out on the channel right now if you want to see a little bit more of an in-depth look at the handheld mode. But one thing I will say, just a small tiny complaint about handheld, the D-pad's not great. And I don't necessarily like using the joystick, but then I'm kind of just like relegated to using the stick because I really don't like that D-pad. So just wanted to mention that. But yeah, you're right. I played it some in handheld mode for the recording of the video, and then just in my everyday Switch usage, I'm going to continue to play it in handheld mode. I feel like it's perfect for that. If you have one of those Joy-Con that has like a D-pad on it, you're going to be all the better for it. But I just have the regular Joy-Con, and yeah, that D-pad is a little iffy.
I use the stick. I'm a full-on stick convert, and it's not perfect, but I think it's plenty good. I feel like the game controls well enough, and they have their Nintendo perfection when it comes to hands on the controller feel that I'm cool with the sticks. It's not even that it's that graphically impressive, but taking in this Mario experience, just like with Odyssey, I guess, and having it with you on the go, especially the challenges that you can kind of just like burn through and run after run after run after run. Something about just carrying it around with me is extra special. And maybe part of it is like how much I have been jonesing for Virtual Console on Switch. And yes, you can go back and play the OG Mario Bros. With the NES titles in the online service, but you don't have Mario World. And you don't have anything else. You don't have Donkey Kong Country like I'd love to have. You don't have any of the Super Nintendo catalog. You don't have the N64 catalog. So I think that's part of it, is like, oh, this is what it would be like if we had all of those games. And I don't know if it's just a some things age better than others, but time has I think done this game well. It is a fun Mario 2D time, and I don't know why I didn't like it more initially.
Yeah, I feel like as long as people's expectations are kept in check, you should be fine, right? Just understand what the game is, and if you go into it with that understanding, you are gonna have a lot of fun, because it is a fun game. At the end of the day, it's a Nintendo Mario side-scrolling game, and they know how to make those over there. They've been making them for a little while. They have the formula down pretty packed, and speaking of packed, there isn't a lot of new content, and that's, a bummer. It collects everything that existed before, and the Luigi stuff does bring in a nice change up from whatever else the Mario one does and the challenges do. But yeah, overall, the package is pretty good, and I'm just kind of ignore the additions, which is just some characters that are probably a little too easy for me, even though I will say my Mario skills are not the best. I am fully aware of that.
Yeah, Nabbit, Toadette, they're really not anything that I'm going to mess with. Like, I saw Peachette. That was one of the first things I did. Go grab that crown and watch Toadette evolve into Peachette, and then convert back into Toadette upon either a hit or a pickup of another item power-up. But it is, to me, a bummer and a disservice to the price point that the new content, the truly new content, is completely avoidable / something that will slip into the background for, I think, most players. I don't think many people are really going to, if you want to say, take advantage of the new content, which is these new characters. It's fun to mess around with, but the experience with Peachette isn't something different. It's not. I would have loved if there were Peachette levels. Like, that would have been cool. If there were Toadette Peachette levels, even if they were easier, but the fact that it's just, hey, a character, and honestly, they don't control that differently. There's not that much newness to explore there, so that is a detractor when you say, hey, this is a port, the price point is a full-on $60, and the new stuff, it's not so hot.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is this game getting so much more of a hard time than Donkey Kong did? Because they're not that different, right? Like, we had an addition of a character with Donkey Kong and not a whole lot else. Here we have two new characters, but, we're not going to use them just like we didn't use Cranky. So, not Funky, excuse me. So, what's the difference? Why does this one have so much more vitriol than Donkey Kong? I don't understand that. Maybe because Donkey Kong is like a better like game probably, but the port itself is on a very similar level to what Donkey Kong did. I just don't know why people give this one so much more of a hard time.
I don't know that it's necessarily a hard time. I think it's just more deliberation back and forth. I think there's a couple of reasons for it. One, New Super Mario Bros. U was a launch title for the Wii U. So that has two negative bullet points. One, that it's even older, and it was an original Wii U title that you're now selling nearly a decade later for $60. And the fact that it sold way more, right? Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was overlooked by many, many gamers and Wii U owners. So it felt like a newer experience. Also, I think that it is a more appealing graphical game. I think it is a more appealing challenge game. I think it is a more appealing world and enemy and boss game. I'll say straight up, I think the bosses stink in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I think that they are boring and rote, and I know it's fine. Like Bowser and the Koopa Kids, they're okay to be there, but you could mix them up. Bouncing 3 times, it just feels boring. And, Mario games have evolved in terms of how they handle bosses. Maybe not the new Super Mario Bros. Series, but they could have got a little more creative. They could have at least put, some twist in there or heck, new characters. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze does a really nice job with boss battles. And so there are, as you mentioned, quality differences, but I really think it boils down to who played it, how many played it, and, Mario to me is a double dip opportunity because of the extreme emphasis on co-op and because it's Mario. And it's really hard to ignore a Mario game when it's being released, and packaged as a big Nintendo first-party title.
All right, so with all of that said, Zach, you and I both bought the game. We purchased it. We didn't get review code, so we bought it. We can speak to our feelings of how we feel about having spent the money, and let's get into that now. Zach, do you regret spending $60 on this?
This is a really tough question to answer because I feel very strongly that these first-party ports should be $40 or $50, and they're not going to be. So I try to swallow and accept that reality and just say, you know what? This is not a part of our universe. We're not going to get Wii U ports for $40 or $50. We see Capcom bringing Dragon's Dogma for $30. Okay, we see other companies doing similar things, and Nintendo just doesn't want to. They don't want to devalue their properties. It's Mario. He is a main force to be reckoned with, and as he should be. So with that being said, I wish it was less, but I don't regret it because I'm having fun with all areas of the game. And that honestly is surprising to me. I thought I would be pretty darn bored with the main game and I would just move to the challenges. I knew I was going to be pumped for those. I knew I was going to get into them a lot. And even if they're not as snappy as I wish, they're still really good. And it's tackling the Mario formula in a very different way and something that I think was slept on because I don't remember hearing a bunch about this. I heard some. I remember being like, oh, it's kind of like achievement-based Mario. How cool would it be if Nintendo incorporated achievements into the Wii U back when that was more of a thing? But to me, it's revolutionary is a bit hyperbolic, but like it feels like that for Mario, even though it's already been out. And specifically the challenges and the Mario, the campaign, the Luigi campaign, they're fun. Nintendo charm is still there. Nintendo gameplay dominance is still there, and it's a cool experience solo to seek out those coins and get through the levels, and then you add in multiplayer and the fact that this can be enjoyed by just about everybody. I have people in my life that Smash Bros is just it's too much for, and my Smash Bros level is not high, but I'm getting to a point where like I want to be good and I want to play people that are going to bring a challenge. So this is now another nice title on Switch that is Nintendo-based, cooperative in nature, and has a plethora of content for me and my friends and family to enjoy together. So I hate that I feel slightly guilty saying it, but I don't regret it. If you have played a bunch of the Wii U version, please be very wary because there's not anything new that's worth even close to $60. But if you're fine double dipping, if nostalgia is a factor, if you just want more Mario on Switch, it's so good handheld. I love this thing handheld. I'm going to play it almost exclusively handheld, and taking that on the go, the challenges, the levels, it's definitely going to tide me over till whatever Nintendo brings out next.
I mean, and that's kind of how I look at it. It's a stopgap. They don't apparently have anything ready besides this. So we're still getting a Nintendo game, and yeah, it's a port, but by this point we should be used to ports. And I'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that buys this game and then doesn't have fun. You might regret maybe spending $60 on this instead of something else, like, you know, somewhere down the line, but you're still going to have fun. I don't see how you play this and you're bored, right? I can't think of any instance where that happens.
Unless you played the Wii U game to death and you're expecting new here.
Oh, sure.
Right off the back
but
of the
that
box,
goes without saying. If you played, like, you know, 50 hours of it originally, you know what the game is, and it's the exact same game. And if you want to take it portably with you, you're paying for that. That's how I would look at it. Besides that, it is the exact same game, but I mean, I have to kind of echo your sentiment. I don't regret it. Now, is it the best purchase on Switch? Probably not. There's a lot of other games you should get beforehand. But
yeah, indeed,
there's still some fun here.
Absolutely, and I think honestly, it's weird because I feel like this game is better the second time around, and a lot of it must have to do with the portability. Maybe that there's not much else like it. I mean, I guess Donkey Kong, but the fact that it's still early in the console's life cycle. And I don't know, maybe it's that New Super Mario Bros. Hasn't appeared in a while. It's been some years, you know, since we had a chance to mess around in this method of Mario madness. I like it a lot, and I like it a lot better the second time around. And maybe there's just some intangibles with the Switch, the portability, the timing, and just now that it is comprised into one package. Because remember, when we did get this at Wii U launch, it did not have the Luigi content. So there is more there, just not new more there, because it was available previously there, even if it wasn't part of our initial package. It's a little bit of a confusing time. A lot of people have been on the fence, but hopefully this video has helped push you one way or the other. Let us know in the comments down below if you're going to be picking up New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which now gets 2 thumbs up. One from Gabe, one from me. It's not the best title on Switch. It should not be your first purchase, but it is once again another great Nintendo game that is added to a library that is looking to be the best that the company has ever established. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and are excited for 2019. This is a good start, Gabe. This is a good start here, and we want to know your thoughts. So subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from the Switch and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, plus whatever Nintendo decides to drop next. I feel like something is coming between now and Yoshi, but we'll have to wait and see. Until then, though, for myself and Gabe, we love you a lot. SwitchForce out.